Hi beautiful, here we are, week 4. How is it going for you? Hopefully you're starting to feel your strength building and your endurance growing. Working on your hurdle step, a vital functional movement for your everyday life. It is the base of your locomotion. You're stepping, you're walking, you're hiking, and you're running. Finding that sweet balance of mobility and stability. Each week, you've been building off the previous week, and this is no different. I'm adding on 3 more exercises for you. You won't be needing any additional props for this week, so your pillow, bolster, and strap will be just fine. Remember to always modify as needed. Do what feels right and safe for your body. Honor where your body is at. With that in mind, let's get started. You're gonna start with a hip stretch. You're gonna lay down on your back. You're gonna have your right leg extended out straight, pushing your heel into the mat, checking that your right foot is in alignment with your hip, bringing in your left knee as far as you can, feeling where your hip sinks into the socket. You want to feel a light engagement of your right hamstring. And from here, you're going to rotate your left hip into that external rotation without your pelvis moving. So you want to keep that right leg active, feeling that slight hamstring engagement, opening up your left knee as wide as you can, keeping your pelvis level, really feeling where your femur sinks into the socket. And then pulling your knee in toward your chest, right? Increasing the mobility of that hip and coming across the body as far as you can, keeping your pelvis level. It's not going to be a very big movement. You may feel a stretch on the outer thigh and in your glute, and that's okay. And you want to work that internal rotation as best you can. Keep that right leg slightly active. And then again, pulling your left knee into your chest as you go into external rotation of the hip, keeping the pelvis level. You may feel some inner thigh stretch here. And again, pulling the knee into your chest, moving across the body into internal rotation. You're not really moving your pelvis here, right? You're just trying to move your hip and your leg. Don't be surprised if the movement is pretty small. And then again, pulling the knee into the chest, going into external rotation, checking to see if your right leg is slightly active. You should feel really anchored in your upper body on the mat. Pulling the left knee into your chest, moving across the body, and then coming into that home base position, extending the left leg back down. So now you want to have your left leg lined up with the hip, slight engagement of the left leg as you pull your right knee in toward your chest, trying to get your thighs close to your chest as possible. Going into external rotation of the hip, feeling that active left leg, the heel slightly pushing into the mat. That's going to help stabilize your pelvis. Pulling your thigh in toward your chest, feeling where your femur sinks into the socket as you go across the body, going into internal rotation of the hip. This is where you may feel the glute stretch on the left side. That's fine. Remembering that your pelvis is staying very still. You're really trying to move the leg and the hip. Going back into external rotation. Is your left leg active? Is your pelvis level? Do you feel really anchored in your upper body on the mat? Pulling that knee in toward the chest, feeling where the femur sinks into the socket as you go into internal rotation of the hip. Try to keep your left leg active. And again, back into external rotation, one more time each way. Pulling into the chest, switching, going into the internal rotation, and then coming back in to home base position. Excellent. Next, you're gonna go into single leg stretch, inhaling twice, exhaling twice as you switch sides, trying to pull your knee into your chest as best you can, working on that hip mobility. You wanna do 10 sets if you can, trying to keep your shoulders off of the mat the entire time, focusing down toward your pubic bone. You want to try to do 30 sets total. Okay, let's start the second set. If you start to feel it in the back of your neck or your lower back, you want to stop and rest. That is a cue that your abs have checked out and that you're compensating. If you notice that you get tired more quickly, that's perfectly normal. Rest anytime you need. Okay, let's go into the third and final set. You've got this. After the third set, you should definitely feel your internal furnace going because you've been activating your core. When you're done, bring your knees into your chest and rock out your lower back. For this next exercise, you're going to want your bolster, roller, pillow, whatever you're using, and your strap. You're going to start with your right leg straight up toward the ceiling in the strap. Your left leg is extended down long, resting on your support, whatever you're using. You're just going to keep your right leg straight in the strap, and you're going to lower and lift your left leg. You want to feel your hip flexors and psoas and abs engaging each time you pick up your left leg, keeping the left leg nice and straight. It shouldn't feel like a thigh exercise. You really want to feel it tapping into your hip flexors, working the connection of your deep abs, psoas, and hip flexors. Really great for locomotion and your posture. I've broken this down into 3 sets of 10, but you can do whatever feels right and safe for your body. Give yourself a moment to really rest in between sets. And when you're ready, go ahead and start your second set. See if you can soften your face. Make sure you're not clenching your teeth. Using your breath and trying to keep your upper body nice and relaxed. Feeling really anchored on the mat with your upper body. You may notice that you start to fatigue faster. That's normal, that's okay. If you notice your thigh starting to work more than your hip flexors or feeling any strain in your lower back, you want to stop and rest. Again, giving yourself a little bit of a break before doing the third set. And when you're ready, going into the third set. Moving with your breath, exhaling as you bring the leg up, inhaling as you bring the leg down. Feel the support of your abs. If you notice a clicking in your hip, it may be that your leg and hip are out of alignment a little bit. So you may want to move your leg to the outside or inside. See if you can relieve that clicking sound and sensation, or minimize it as much as possible. And give yourself a moment to rest before beginning the second side. And when you're ready, you're going to start the second side. Extending your left leg up straight in the strap and moving the right leg. Again, we're going to be doing 30 reps. I have broken it down into 3 sets of 10, but you can always do what feels right and safe for your body. Give yourself a moment to really rest in between sets. And when you're ready, go ahead and start your second set. Again, giving yourself a little bit of a break before doing the third set. And when you're ready, going into the third set. And after you've finished your third set, go ahead into a psoas stretch. You're going to have your left leg in front, your right leg behind. I like to have my toes curled under. It feels more stable for me. Do check that your foot is in line with the back of your hip and your body is nice and upright. You want to engage in your abs, sort of have the feeling that you're tucking the pelvis a little bit. You want to feel your right glute muscle engage. Gently go into a little lunge, not very big, feeling the stretch from the top of the hip going all the way down your right thigh to the knee. Bringing your right arm up and side bending gently over to your left. When you're ready to come out of the stretch, engage in your abs to protect your lower back. And then go ahead and switch sides. Remember, you want to feel your back glute engaged, feeling that stretch all along the front of your left thigh. Nice, easy, gentle side bend over to your right. While in the stretch, think of breathing into the back and side of your ribs. See if you can soften your jaw and your face. And remember to engage in your abs when you're ready to come out of the stretch. You're going to go into battement. Legs are out straight, feet aligned with your hips. Pressing gently down into your right heel with the soft knee, using that as your standing leg. You want to feel active in your hamstring. Moving your left leg, bending the knee into your chest, extending your left leg out straight, lower and lift the left leg. Bring the knee back down into the chest and then rest the leg back at home base and repeat on the same side. You're going to do 10 reps for each side and you're going to do that 3 times. So a total of 30 sets. Really try to feel where your femur sinks into the hip socket, working your hip mobility. Working the hip flexors as you extend the leg up straight, working the thigh and the hip flexors as you lower and lift the leg. You will feel your thigh working. That's good. You want that. You want to keep your pelvis level. Soften your face and your jaw, keeping your upper body soft and really anchored on the mat. Give yourself a moment to rest in between sets. And when you're ready, go into the second set. As you start your second set, make sure that your foot is aligned with your hip. You may notice that you get tired faster, and that's okay. Honor where your body is at and do what feels right and safe for you. By the end of the second set, you may feel the heat coming. That's good. Give yourself time to rest in between sets. If you're feeling or hearing that clicking noise in your hip, Remember to play with the alignment of your femur and your hip socket, yeah? You may need to move your leg out or in a little bit, adjust as needed. You want to try to resolve that feeling or that clicking sound as best as possible. Remember to use your breath, engage in your abs, use your standing leg hamstring to stabilize your pelvis. Rest is needed before going into the last set. And when you're ready, go into the third set. You got this. Only 10 more times for each side. You're doing a great job building your endurance and your strength. Your body's going to thank you for it. All right, you did it. Give yourself a good rest before moving on to the next exercise. You're going to go into the leg lock bridge. You're going to have your knees bent, feet flat. You're going to bring your right leg in towards your chest, feeling where your femur bone sinks into the socket. You're going to go into a single leg bridge on the other side as you hold that right knee in as best you can, really working on that hip mobility. You're going to hold at the top for about 2 counts, come back down and repeat 10 times for each side, and we will do 3 sets. Check that your left foot is in line with the back of your hip, and when you bridge up, you can really anchor down into your left foot. You can always adjust your positioning as needed. You want to feel your glute working more than your hamstring. Yes, your hamstring will be working, you will feel it, but you want your glute to be the dominant muscle. Remember to use your breath, stay engaged in your abs, and only bridge up as high as you can, keeping your pelvis level and your upper back anchored on the mat. Try not to collapse down from your bridge. Try to articulate as best you can, keeping your abs engaged to protect your lower back. If you feel any strain in your lower back or your hamstrings, you want to stop and rest because that's a cue that your body's compensating. Let yourself rest in between sets, and when you're ready, go ahead into the second set. As you're going along in your second set, you may notice that you fatigue faster. That's okay. Stop and rest as needed. If you're noticing your hamstrings working too much, play with the distance of your feet from your booty. Also make sure that when you're anchoring down into your standing leg foot that you're using your whole foot. Check to see if you need to put more weight on the outside of your foot to help engage the glute a little bit more. Remembering to use your breath. See if you can soften your face and your jaw and keep your upper body as relaxed as possible. Let yourself rest in between sets. And when you're ready, you can begin the last set. As you're starting your third set, you may realize you're not bridging up as high as you were in the first set, and that's perfectly normal. I'm sure you're getting tired. I am too. Stay focused on trying to find that hip extension on the standing leg, really working the mobility of the standing leg hip. That is also going to really turn your glute on. If you're not feeling your glute enough, it may be that you're not extending and opening up your hip. Try to focus on that and see if you can recruit more glute activity. You're going to finish by going into a glute stretch, laying down on your back, crossing your left knee over your right, pulling into your chest, shifting your knees over to your right so you feel the stretch get into your left glute. You want to be here for as long as you need until you feel an increased range of motion. Breathing, settling into the stretch, softening your face and your jaw. And when you're ready, switching sides. Crossing your left leg over the right, pulling into your chest, shifting your knees over to the left until you feel the stretch get into your right glute. Again, staying here for as long as you need, softening your face and your jaw, breathing into the stretch. Softly pulling your knees in closer to your chest with each exhale. And when you're ready, coming out of it. You're gonna do the brettzel. You're gonna be laying down on your left side, making sure that your head is in line with your shoulders and your pelvis. Placing your right knee down on the mat, extending the left leg out straight. Reaching for your left foot, rotating your upper body toward the ceiling, trying to bring your left foot down onto the mat. so you are in a nice rotation, challenging your hip mobility. You may feel this in your hips or your quads, and definitely in your rotation of the spine. Breathing normally, thinking about breathing into the back and side of your ribs, gently trying to increase the stretch with each exhale. And when you're ready, slowly and gently come out of the stretch to switch sides. Breathing into the back and side of your ribs, gently trying to increase the stretch with each exhale. See if you can soften your face and your jaw. Let go of any tension you might be holding in your neck and shoulders. And savor the stretch. And when you're ready, slowly and gently come out of it. You're going to go into the side plank clam, checking that your head is in line with your shoulders and your pelvis, pushing down into your right forearm, lifting your hips off the mat, extending your left arm straight. You're going to go ahead and do a set of 15 reps. We'll be doing 2 sets, so it's a total of 30. After you've done 15, you can rest. And when you're ready, go into your second set. Making sure that your pelvis stays stable, really wrapping the glute. You may even feel the burn of the glute. That's good. And after you've done your 15, you can go ahead and switch sides. You may notice the supporting glute working a lot. That's normal, you want that. You may even feel that glute working more than the moving leg, and that's absolutely fine. It is a lot of work for that supporting side. Doing 1 set of 15, and then go ahead and rest. And when you're ready, go into your second set. Try to keep your head in line with your spine, keeping your chest facing forward, just moving the hip and the leg, trying to keep everything else very stable. Lots of good core work happening here. After you've done your 15, go ahead and rest. Nicely done. You're going to go into the plank. You're going to extend one leg out. Make sure you're feeling that glute activation. On your exhale, engage your abs, bring your second leg out, and you should be in a nice plank position. You're going to hold that plank for as long as you can. You want to feel the isometric contraction of the legs. Definitely want to feel like you are squeezing your glutes. With each exhale, engaging navel to spine, trying to keep your head in line with your spine and your elbows soft so you're not locking out your elbow joints and you have better access to the use of your arm muscles. You're going to do a total of 5 planks, holding each plank for as long as you can. When you're ready, go ahead and begin the second plank. It's important to concentrate more on the quality of your movement than how long you hold it for. Each round may be different. Try not to count as much as think about what you're feeling working. The plank is an amazing core exercise, but it takes whole body coordination to make it happen. So it's important that you're thinking about what you're feeling from your feet all the way up through the crown of the head. When it's time to rest, come completely off your wrists, and you can always stretch out your wrists if needed. When you're ready, go ahead into the third round. You want to feel the legs contracted, your glutes and your abs, your arms. You don't want to feel any strain in your neck or your lower back. If you do, you want to stop and rest. You want to anchor down into both feet and both hands evenly, so you're working your muscles as symmetrically as possible. Check to see if your head is dropping. Try to keep your head in alignment with your spine. It's time to rest. Come completely off of your wrists. Okay, it's time for the fourth round. Here you go. You shouldn't feel any strain in your knees. If you do, you want to think about where the weight distribution is in your feet, or if you're locking out your knee joints. You may notice that you're quivering faster. That's perfectly normal. And when you're ready, go ahead and rest completely off of your wrists. Okay, this is it. Last one. Let's do this. All right, make this last plank a good one. Focusing on your form, feeling the isometric contraction of your legs. Your glutes are on, your abs are on. Softening your elbows, working your arm muscles, reaching through the crown of your head, keeping your head in alignment with your spine. With each exhale, pulling navel to spine, pushing the air out, activating your abs. And when you're ready, go ahead and rest. Excellent work. You're going to go into mountain climber. From your plank, you're going to draw one knee in toward your chest, bring that leg back to home base, and switch sides. Trying to keep your pelvis as level as possible, trying not to let your butt start climbing up toward the ceiling. With each exhale, engaging your abs, pulling navel to spine. We're going to do 6 rounds of 5 sets, so that is a total of 30 sets. When you're ready, going into your second set, keeping your elbows soft so you can access your arm muscles. Drawing in your knee as close as you can to your chest, working your hip flexors and psoas. You're going to do 5 sets and then go ahead and rest and come completely off of your wrists. When you're ready, going into the third set. You may start to feel your heart racing a little bit. That's normal, that's good. Starting to feel that internal furnace turn on. That's awesome. Try not to brace your knees. Use your glutes. Remember to rest completely off of your wrists in between sets. When you're ready, going into set 4. Using your breath, exhaling, pushing the air out, engaging navel to spine. Keeping your elbows soft, accessing your arm muscles, and protecting your joints. You may start to feel the quivering in your arms. That's good. Working your endurance. When it's time to rest, come completely off of your wrists. And when you're ready, it's time for set number 5. When it's time to rest, come completely off of your wrists. And when you're ready, it's time for the last set. You got this. You could do this. Try not to let your knee hit the mat at all, but at the same time, trying not to lift your butt up. Got to work that core stability. You may be feeling fatigued. That's normal. Feeling that heart racing. That's good. Feeling the arms quivering. Yes, we want that. All of that is really good. You're going to go into single leg hip flexion. You're going to be standing on your left leg, right leg back behind you. You're going to bring your right knee up as high as you can, place it back down, hold for a count, and then come back up and repeat. You want to do 15 reps. You're going to do both sides, and you're going to do 2 sets. You want to feel your active standing leg working, feeling the glute on, feeling the engagement of the abs. Try to let your arms move naturally, like they would when you're walking. If you need a tool to help you balance, that's absolutely fine. Try just to have a light touch with it. Try to feel where your femur really sinks into your hip socket, really trying to find the flexion of your hip, yeah? Give yourself a moment to rest in between sets. When you're ready, going into the second set, 15 reps. Try to keep your spine nice and long, reaching the crown of your head toward the ceiling, trying not to slump in the spine as you bring the knee up. You may feel your working leg and standing leg both getting tired, and that's completely normal. Rest as much as you need. After you're done with your 2 sets, you're ready to move on to the next one. Last exercise of the day. You're gonna go into single leg balance. We're gonna be doing 2 rounds of this. Standing on your left leg, bringing your right leg up, holding on to your shin, bringing the thigh in close to your chest, flexing your right foot. Once you found your place, you're gonna let go and you're gonna hold for 3 counts. Then you're gonna grab back on, lift that leg up a little bit higher, let go, hold again for 3, pulling up your leg to the highest point, holding it for 3. You definitely want to feel that standing leg glute working for you. Go ahead and rest after doing your first set. And when you're ready, go into the second set. When you pick up the leg, bring your knee up and thigh in towards your chest. When it's time to let go, try not to let your leg drop at all. Using your breath, engaging in your abs. Keeping the foot really flexed and trying not to slump in the spine as you bring the thigh and knee up. You really want to feel where your femur sinks into the socket, so it doesn't feel like a lot of muscle strain to hold up the leg. Job well done. Nice work. All right, you did it. Thank you so much for being here to take time for yourself to help you move better in your body so you can be out there in the world doing what you love with the people you love. Taking the time to improve your hurdle step will change the way you move in your everyday life. It's pretty awesome. As usual, I suggest doing this routine 4 times a week while you're building your endurance and strength. And like I say, if you're short on time, focus on your weakest link. That means the exercises or stretches that feel the most challenging for you. Have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now. Special shout out to my Vital 7 stars. Thank you for making this video possible.